Welcome back to Greater Greener Georgia, the podcast where we break down the most important elections, policies, and climate issues shaping Georgia's future. I'm your host, Christian, and today we take a deep dive into what is at stake in Georgia in 2026. From federal midterm races to state-level elections and key environmental policies moving through the legislature, we've got a lot to unpack, so let's get started. First up, the 2026 midterm elections are just around the corner. And Georgia, once again, is poised to play a pivotal role in national politics. On November 3rd, 2026, voters will head to the polls for a crucial race that will shape the next 2 years in Washington. At the top of the ticket is the U.S. Senate race. Incumbent Democratic Senator Jon Ossoff is running for a second term. This race is drawing national attention because Georgia has been one of the most competitive states in the country, making this seat critical for control of the Senate. Every seat in the U.S. House of Representatives will also be on the ballot, with all of Georgia's districts up for election. Voters will have a say in who represents them in Congress, folks who weigh in on national energy policies, climate funding, infrastructure, and more. Down the ballot in Georgia, the gubernatorial race is shaping up to be one of the most consequential state contests of the year. With current Governor Brian Kemp's term ending, this is an open seat race, and both parties are fielding strong contenders. Major declared Republican candidates include Chris Carr, Burt Jones, Brad Raffensperger, and others. On the Democratic side, figures like Keisha Lance Bottoms, Jason Estevez, Rua Roman, and Olujimi Brown are competing for their party's nomination. This governor's race will have major implications for Georgia's energy strategy, climate resilience, and economic priorities over the next 4 years, from how quickly the state moves toward renewables to how it manages data center growth and utility regulation. And a key down-ballot election that often flies under the radar but has a massive impact on energy and climate policy is the Georgia Public Service Commission election. On November 3rd, 2 of the 5 seats of the PSC will be decided by voters. The commission regulates utilities. That means electricity, gas, and telecommunications. And their decisions shape rates, grid planning, and what kind of energy resources are built in Georgia. After the 2025 special election, Democrats picked up 2 seats for the first time in decades, signaling increased public interest in consumer protection and clean energy leadership. PSC races may not grab headlines like governor races or Senate campaigns, but they are where critical decisions about energy costs and climate resilience often get made. The primary elections for all of these races will take place on May 19th. Now, shifting from elections to policies, the 2026 Georgia legislative session is already underway, and a couple of bills in particular deserve your attention. Starting with Senate Bill 94, which would reestablish a Consumer Utility Council, a dedicated office to represent residential and small business utility customers in proceedings before the PSC and other agencies. This role was eliminated years ago, and supporters argue that restoring it would give everyday Georgians a stronger voice when utilities seek rate increases and other changes. If passed, SB 94 would improve transparency and accountability in utility regulation and ensure that consumers' interests are not overshadowed by corporate lobbyists and utility agendas. Next up, we have a high-profile Senate Bill 34, which aims to protect ratepayers by preventing costs associated with serving large commercial data centers from being passed on to residential and small business customers. Essentially, if a utility builds a new infrastructure mainly to serve huge data centers, SB 34 would require those data centers to bear the cost directly, rather than spreading them across all customers' bills. This has become a flashpoint in Georgia as data center power demand has skyrocketed, raising concerns about affordability and fairness for families and small businesses. Now, before we wrap up, here's some exciting news for advocates, policymakers, and legislators. Georgia Conservation Voters has launched a new resource called the Climate Policy Toolkit. This free public resource offers real examples of pro climate legislation from around the country to help lawmakers draft bills that promote clean, affordable energy, equity, and environmental protection tailored to Georgia's needs. If you're a legislator, advocate, or organizer looking to model policies that make sense for our state, this toolkit is a powerful starting point. And that's your 2026 Georgia elections and climate policy briefing. With major federal and state races ahead, a critical bills moving forward in the legislature, this year could shape Georgia's future for generations to come. And one last reminder, mark your calendars for 100% Advocacy Day, hosted by Georgia conservation voters at the Georgia State Capitol on February 3rd. Show up, raise your voice, and advocate for the clean, affordable, equitable energy policies that we need. We'll have more details on how to get involved on our website, gcvoters.org. Thank you for listening to Greater Greener Georgia. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with a friend. Stay informed and stay involved. Georgia's future depends on it.